Bill Clinton once called Robert Rubin the best Treasury Secretary the United States had had since Alexander Hamilton. Rubin served in that cabinet position from 1995 to 1999. Those were prosperous years for the United States. Seems like a long time ago. Bob Rubin also had a storied banking career. He was the head of the investment bank, or that's what we called it then, Goldman Sachs. And more recently, he is now the senior counselor at Citigroup. He's been also acting as an unofficial advisor to Barack Obama's presidential campaign. Bob Rubin, welcome.
Nice to be with you, Fareed.
When do you think we'll get to a point where we're back to normal in terms of credit markets? Forget about the price of equities and things like that, but just there's a restoration of a sense that economic activity is back on track.
I think given the circumstance we're now in, Fareed, which is a real crisis of confidence, this is a perfect storm. This is a very low probability event that is having huge consequence. I think we need to continue to have highly proactive public policy, and I think a lot that has been done that's been very constructive. I'd say going forward that the most important thing we can do is a very large fiscal stimulus married with a commitment to reestablishing sound fiscal conditions over time once the economy is healthy again. I think we have got to find a better answer to this question of mortgage foreclosure. And there's been a lot of focus on it. There have been a lot of proposals. There's no proposal yet. It's very complex for a whole host of reasons. And that's why
the basic issue that you're trying to solve is the underlying asset here, which is housing prices, continues to decline. And so you want to in some way shore that up, because this mountain of debt and these financial instruments are sinking in large part because that underlying asset is sinking.
It is you're absolutely right. The central problem, although there are plenty of other problems, are the declining housing prices, plus a terrible problem for families all across the country. And if you could effectively catalyze the renegotiation of mortgages, and for all kinds of reasons that there's a real economic reason why lenders and borrowers should want to do that, you could help with the housing price problem, you could help with families, and you could really go, I think, take an important step towards stabilizing. The problem is that there have been a large number of very smart people who focused on this, and so far at least no proposal has come forward around which there is a consensus or some reasonable consensus this will work. But I will tell you this from having our meetings with Senator Obama, he is intensely focused on this, and he has a little task force working on this right now, so that to try to take all the proposals around and find something that people think has a high probability of working.
Do you think Hank Paulson has done a good job or a bad job as Treasury Secretary?
I think Hank has done a good job, and I think he has faced unprecedented circumstances, and he's dealt with it with tremendous force. You're never going to agree with anybody about everything. I didn't even agree with myself about everything. But I think that he has taken a number of really courageous steps in the face of unprecedented conditions. It's very easy. I noticed this when I was there and dealing with the Mexican crisis and the Asian crisis. It's very easy for critics to predict the past. It's a lot harder to predict the future, and to sit in that seat, and I sat there, and to face the enormous uncertainties that surround each of these kinds of events.
Do you think it was a mistake to let Lehman go under?
Well, that'll be debated for a long time, Fareed, and different people will have different views. Rather than express my own view, I would just say that it was obviously a complex situation.